and welcome to @Rachelle Rogers, a YouTube channel where we take news topics, celebrity or otherwise, and we discuss them with a spiritual slant. So the story I would like to discuss today happened in a town in Mississippi, and what happened there was that there was a mother and a father. They were in a domestic dispute. And so the mother asked the son, the 11-year-old son, who was 4 feet 10 inches, asked him to call the police and then call the grandmother. So the child, he called the police. And when he called the police, he informed the police that the father had left the house already, and that he was not armed upon leaving at the time. By the time he called the police, the father had left. So when the police arrived, they arrived with guns drawn. Okay, so they ordered everybody out the house, and the officer was informed that there were 3 children in the house. And so when the young man, the 11-year-old, came out of the house with his hands up, he was coming out of one of the bedrooms with his hands up, the officer immediately shot him, ended up shooting him in the chest. Luckily, thank God, the little boy, he didn't die, but he did, of course, have severe injuries to his lungs and some more injuries that could have taken his life. But thank the good Lord, he survived. One reason why it's important to be covered. When I say covered, I mean covered by the blood, meaning a believer in Jesus Christ and one that has accepted the Holy Spirit in their life, because sometimes things happen just because you're on this earth, and the enemy controls a lot of things on this earth. So sometimes you can get caught up as a believer, but through the Holy Spirit and through Jesus Christ, you will survive and you will make it. So thank the good Lord, the boy survived and he did not die. So of course the family is suing, and they have an attorney and they're suing, and the officer is on paid leave, and the police department there in Mississippi is investigating. Now, my first question is, do police officers always go to domestic violence calls with guns out and ready to go? I don't know. I don't know if that's protocol to approach a domestic abuse call with guns out ready to fire before you even got to the house. So I would also say that I don't know this officer personally, but just reading the story, it sounded like maybe he was trigger happy. Either he was trigger happy or he is too emotional and reacting too much on emotion, versus his intellect or his training. Because I would think that, it happens too many times to where officer, the first thing he sees, he just shoots automatically. There's no assessing the situation. Seemingly, it seems to be no thinking intellectually on the part of the officer. It seems that they are responding off of pure emotion and not the training that they have been given. And I'm sure their training does not say, if you're scared, just start shooting. And if you are that way, then you might not want to be a police officer, okay? Because that's not the job to have if you are scary, right? And you're not calm enough, and you can't have your emotions checked enough in order to fall on the training that you were given versus fall on your fear or your emotions. And a lot of times when people are unrightfully or unjustly shot and sometimes, many times, killed by the police, that's the first thing they say, that they were afraid or in fear for their life. And I say, if you are that scary and that shaky, you do not need to be a police officer. If all your training flies out the window at any type of call that you get to, then policing is not the job for you. okay? It's just not. Go try and do something else. But I would hope that this family wins the lawsuit that they are pursuing, and I would hope that whatever consequences this officer deserves, he will receive. Of course, you know, that's not up to me or what have you, but of course people are very upset that he is on administrative leave with pay after being so careless and so reckless, because the father that was called on, he was reported as being 6 foot tall, more than 6 foot tall, and this 11-year-old was only 4 foot tall. So the attorney is saying, how could the officer possibly confuse this 4 foot tall 11-year-old with a 6 foot tall man that you had already been told had already left the house and didn't have a gun. On top of the 11-year-old, when he came out of the room, he came out with his hands up. Okay, I guess he should have said don't shoot. But nevertheless, I hope this family does win the suit. This officer, whatever should happen to him, it needs to happen to him. I say he needs to quit and get another job, because if you're that scary, first, like I said, I don't know what protocol is, but I remember back in the day when officers showed up for domestic disputes, they didn't show up with their guns out ready to go. They didn't. I mean, they kind of walked up and found out what was going on before anybody went to jail. You know what I mean? So, like I said, who knows what really happened, you know, especially when you weren't there. But according to the reports, the officers seem to be a little shaky, a little trigger happy, and I say forget retraining, giving a second chance, just tell them to go find another line of work, okay? So that's really all I had to say about that story today. Like I said, spiritually, it's an attack on our children. Our children are under attack. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. Our children are under attack in so many different directions, so many different angles. I mean, the children are the future. The children are the ones that can make a change. The children are the ones that can make a true difference for generations to come. And the enemy does not want that to happen. So he's attacking our children. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And for me, this is a spiritual example of that has manifested in the physical. So that's all I have for today. And I thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.